Welcome everyone to Spiritual Freedom Support Call number 29. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Oh, good, thank you.
Good.
Great.
We had a great week. Last weekend we had a really super exciting podcast. We had an interview with Natalie Thompson from Vibe Shifting. That was so much fun, wasn't it, Justin?
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
incredible.
That was so
Vibe
much
shifting.
fun. We want to have more guests like that on, because it was really, really engaging, really fun.
That was great.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So
I just mostly listened.
yeah, that's okay. You interjected when you had to,
A little bit. But that
what's
was
been nice is that she's been in the comments too, which I wanted her to do. I didn't want to insist on it, but she's been in the comments, which I'm really happy about, and discussing and things like that. So that's been nice too. But that was a lot of fun, and then everything's just been great in the last week. We got this. You ever hear of DirecTV Now, the streaming service? No. It's through AT&T, and it's basically because we cut cable like last July, and it's cheaper, and with cable, you know this, Justin, you can't like see what's on TV. You can't like flip channels like as a blind person. Well, anyway, so because we have Netflix, we have Hulu, and all that kind of stuff. We have an Apple TV, and oopsies. And so anyway, DirecTV Now is a streaming service where you get like a whole bunch of channels, and you can watch them live, stream them, and you don't have to have a cable subscription. It's really cool. We've been trialing it this week. We just got it, Sunday? Was it?
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
So that's been a lot of fun. It's like,
Is it accessible?
and you can just flip through all the channels and see what's on. Like it's not
it's
really
accessible.
flipping. Yeah, it's accessible. Not really flipping through. It's more like flicking through on the trackpad. I got it on my Apple TV, and it's really awesome. I love it.
I don't know if it is with JAWS, but it is with VoiceOver.
I have no idea, but you can get it on your iPhone. I'll be honest, like most of these streaming services, it's not very accessible on the computer. But if you get it on the phone or on Apple TV or something like that, it's very accessible. So we tried some.
I would have to watch it on my phone. That's what you're saying.
Right. We tried something else a few months ago called Sling TV, and that was not accessible at all. And it's cheaper, so I wish it would have worked. But it was not at all accessible. It was not.
I always thought about getting Sling, but I just
don't do it. No, if you want a streaming service like that, do DirecTV Now. It really, really works. Anyway, not to do the sales pitch for them, but we're trialing it this week, and it's. I thought I turn the speech
You
off.
didn't.
Did though.
No,
TV
I didn't hear it go off.
So anyway, that's.
I'm gonna do my sales pitch for Time Warner Cable, if you don't mind.
That's what we have. Well, we have the internet. we have their internet.
The only reason I keep cable is I'm used to the channels. I just hated the DirecTV channel. DirecTV made me very angry.
It's different.
It's not channel numbers. You actually can add favorites. You just flick through them. It's just in alphabetical order. You just sort of.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's not like channel numbers. You don't like turn to a channel. You don't
turn to channel 2 for the
news. You can search, for certain things, or you can just flick through and see what's, it works. It's cool. Anyway,
and all your sports, ESPN, and all that is on there.
Yeah, not that we watch sports.
Yeah, I do.
I know.
You do.
That's why
that's why Christine said it.
Christine specifically threw that one at me.
I did.
So yeah, that's been really good. So all right, so to actual spirituality.
You started it.
I know I started. I like to talk about our weeks.
I'm just joking.
Anyway, okay, so let's start out with questions that you may have. And I know some more people are joining us later on. Brenda's going to be here later, but she'll be like 20 minutes late, she said. I hope that wasn't... Did I get a message? Because that might have been her that messaged me.
I got a text.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I got a messenger message.
I didn't hear it on your phone.
Yeah. So, okay, questions.
You know what? Maybe you should check.
I'll check. So, questions, first of all, before anything else.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, can we actually talk a little bit about inspired action?
Sure.
Yes.
Because I think that maybe for some things you might actually need more intuition than what I've actually got. I'm kind of waiting to get signs saying that the business that I'm thinking about doing is a good idea. And
have you asked the universe to send you signs that you'll recognize? Because I find that works.
Right.
Especially if you have specific deities.
What specifically is the issue?
What I'm thinking of doing is third-party selling on Amazon.
Okay.
And of course, it's in the States. So we don't actually come, across much to do with Amazon here in New Zealand.
Right.
I've had one thing that was in the paper that they're going to open Amazon in Australia about September.
I didn't know they didn't already. I'm shocked because they have UK and they have
I know
Europe.
It's actually got about 24 million people there. You would think they would have been onto that much sooner. Because they're everywhere else. Obviously, they won't be in New Zealand because New Zealand's about 4.5 million people.
Right.
And I don't know that I would sell much on Amazon Australia because, US is 300 million. It's a much bigger market. I would be better to do that. But I've got a course that I'm doing for it. And it seems really good and exciting. But the only stuff that I'm getting about Amazon is from them.
Right.
And I just don't know if there, there's actually a profit to be made in it from so far away. And so I kept asking, well, show me a sign, show me that this is a good thing to do.
Okay, how about this? I think you're getting way too caught up in the details. Why do you want to do it?
I want to actually build up a business that I can do from anywhere. I have my daughter in the UK and my son and grandchildren in the South Island.
Right.
I'd like to be able to travel and still make an income.
Right. So is it because you have a specific interest in this area, or is it what you think you can make the most money? And what's the motivation behind this specific business idea?
Can I piggyback one more question too? That actually helps me.
Let's do one at a time.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I don't have any specific interest in it. I've been an RN all my life. I don't want to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Capricorn, so I'm meant to be good at business.
Right.
So yeah, that's the only reason that I came down on this. My age is pretty much against me for being employed by anyone other than nursing. Mm-hmm. There is, I've actually tried a few interviews and they all seem to go very well, and but it doesn't follow through to the end.
Justin, you give your thing and then I'll give my advice that I have.
I just wanted to her to think about, does it have to be selling on Amazon? Can it be in any online situation? That's all. Right. Not that Amazon's bad. That was the only thing I wanted to piggyback. Yeah. Does it have to be that?
No, it doesn't. Okay. But I find it very difficult to figure out. There's thousands of online opportunities out there, but a lot of them are duds and not, the cons or.
That's fine. No, I just want you to think about it.
So here's where by the way, is my volume high enough? I always want to make sure. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, cool. So my thing is, energetically, what I feel is, you have oh, okay, that's about to come out the wrong way. I was going to say you have a problem. You don't have a problem. You have a problem. You perceive a problem, and your ego says, all right, here's a problem. Let's figure out the best way to solve the problem, and then let's try to manifest it. That's what a lot of people try to do. Someone will say, okay, I need more money, and so to get more money, I need a job, and so I need to manifest a job. Right? That's really common, but it's the wrong approach. Because you don't really have any inspiration, but you're talking about it. I'm like, I'm not feeling any energy there.
No.
Right? And to make the law of attraction work, you have to have the energy. It's like, okay, when I took that, I've mentioned this course many times, Hypnosis and the Law of Attraction with Joe Tabanella. I took it a year and a half ago. It seems so much longer. And
with everything you've been through.
I know. So anyway, so I took this course a year and a half ago. Careful. And one of the things he said was, what goal are you willing to love into existence? What goal are you willing to hold within yourself and love for as long as it takes? For 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? What goal are you willing to love? It's sort of like I've mentioned before, I'm a classical pianist when I want to be. And, it's like when I want to learn a new piece, I have to ask myself, do I really, really, really like this piece? Because by the time I'm done with it, if I don't love it to death, I'm going to be sick of it. Right? You ever get that? Well, you don't do it as much, but Christine.
If I practice a lot, because I'm a singer, and if I practice a lot, especially if it's a song I really don't want to do,
right.
I'm like, okay, I'm over this by now.
Right. Like, okay. So, when I was in college, I was a music major for a while, and and I was learning this piano concerto by how do you pronounce Saint-Saëns, and Camille Saint-Saëns, and he's my favorite composer. Anyway, so I was learning this piano concerto. The plan was I was going to be in this piano concerto competition. I swear this is related. I promise it is. And so I was just learning the first movement. Now, this was far beyond any musical piece I'd ever learned before in my life. Very technically difficult.
I heard it, and it's crazy.
Very, very technically difficult. And, I worked on it for almost 2 years.
Oh, that long?
Yes.
Wow.
That's a long time on a piece.
It was maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years. It was, I started it in early 2008. So, yeah, well, I guess a little over a year then. I was meant to be in a competition in October of 2009 and to work on that piece for that long. Okay. I loved that piece. It felt like almost a child because I worked on it day in, day out. I had technical issues that would last for weeks or months sometimes that I really have to iron out. And I really loved that piece. That's why I chose it. My teacher asked me, what piano concerto do you really, really love? And I told her that one. And I know if it hadn't been that one, I would have wanted to kill the composer for ever composing that piece.
Yeah.
Because it was difficult. Okay. The reason I'm saying that, I have the same thing with co-creation coaching. I've been doing this for a year and a half now. Since 2015, and I love it. If I hadn't loved it, if my heart wasn't absolutely totally in it,
he wouldn't be doing it.
I'd give it up. No matter how much money I was making, especially through the period of not much money, because the business is going to go through a period where you're barely breaking even. It's going to go through a period where you're basically sinking money into it. First of all. I mean, if you expect a business to be profitable, I'm sure you know this. If you expect a business to be profitable within the first 6 months, you're likely delusional. Not to be harsh, but it's true. And it's just not going to be unless you're really, really lucky, or unless you have like venture capital or something, which, you're not going to probably. It's really hard. And then it starts to break even. And then, it slowly but surely it comes into profit. And that's what's happened with co-creation coaching. So it takes time. And if you don't absolutely love it, you're just going to come to a point it's not worth it. I
met a guy that failed today, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he failed today, actually. Car wash. He said he just didn't have the paperwork, the skills for it.
Yep.
It just didn't work for him.
You got to love it. It has to be a dream. It has to be a passion. So here's the thing. So again, you have you have a problem that you perceive, which is, I want to be able to make money from anywhere because I want to travel and, see my children, grandchildren, whatnot. That's good. But the ego says, okay, now let's solve this problem. Okay, there's Amazon. I can sell stuff on Amazon. Yeah, that works. And then, okay, so when we try to manifest that solution, we never even think, is that the solution for me? It's a solution, not the solution for me. And, it may or may not be, but I didn't feel the energy when you were talking about it, What I would do, you don't start with a problem. You start with a vision. And this is the whole thing with law of attraction. People say, don't focus on the unwanted, focus on the wanted. You started with a problem, and you tried to solve a problem. Start with a vision. The vision is what you said. I want to be able to travel and see my kids and grandkids and make money from anywhere and support myself. That's
Brandon,
your
you're
vision.
slightly lower.
Sorry?
You're slightly lower. Not sure what happened.
Okay. I'll turn myself up a little. Better?
No.
Sorry?
I don't know what's going on. Just keep talking. I'll figure something out.
Okay. Let me check my volume. PK, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check my volume on my...
You're going,
Let me see. Well, it should be good.
Okay, now it's better.
Okay. Anyway, so, start with the vision. And that's what your vision is, right?
Yes.
Right. And then try to say, okay, universe, this is my vision. This is what I want to do. Connect with the feeling of the vision. The law of attraction is so feeling-based. How are you going to get a feeling for something you're not inspired to? So connect with the feeling of the vision. When you connect with the feeling of trying to solve a problem, you get the problem. You don't get the vision. So start with the vision and say, okay, I need to be inspired to I don't even want to say solution, to the perfect path to my vision. See the difference? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. So I need to be inspired to the perfect path to my vision. And that could be what you said. It could be selling on Amazon. I don't know. But it could be something totally different that you wouldn't even expect. So when you have that vision and you hold it within yourself and you love it within yourself and you embody it within yourself, it will come out and crystallize in reality, and you will find the path. You will find the way to that vision somehow. It will be a way that is fun and enjoyable, engaging, and that really inspires you. So I know your question was about inspired action, but inspired action can only come from inspiration. So, start with the vision, and then it'll take you there.
Right. You still have to make money in the meantime, though.
Well, there's the ego coming in again and saying, I still have this problem. This really persistent nagging problem. And okay. Right. I mean, okay. It's really hard because the ego believes in problems,
Yeah.
And...
But I don't know that my power company or my supermarket or whatever would be happy if I said, I'm waiting for inspired action. I'll pay you next year.
Right, I get that. But, when you stop seeing the problem tends to stop existing. Okay, and I know that's hard to believe because, again, the ego is really, really good at saying, yep, there's a problem, yep, there's a problem, yep, there's a problem, I gotta solve the problem, let's use this nifty law of attraction thing to solve the problem. and I don't remember where I said it. I said this a long time ago. I don't remember where, but the law of attraction doesn't solve problems.
No.
It creates dreams. It creates visions. It doesn't solve problems. No matter, anytime I've had a problem in my life, it's not been solved by the law of attraction. It was solved by stop seeing the problem. So, you have to stop saying, okay, well, I have bills I have to pay. That's all true, sure. But have the vision of paying the bills. Don't have the problem of, I have to pay the bills. How am I going to pay the bills? I can't pay the bills. Have the vision of living a comfortable life where the bills are paid. You get that?
Wow.
That's the difference, right? Different feeling altogether.
Right.
So, and the universe will take care of things. It absolutely will. I mean, Christine, how many times have we been in really dire straits and
something out of the blue would just happen?
Worked out. I mean, it just does. But you have to have. Did you read the post yesterday on faith and trust in the universe?
Yeah, that started a lot of questions as well.
Yeah, well, we can get to them.
I believe faith and trust are earned, actually. If you're talking about people or companies or whatever.
Oh, sure, I agree.
Trust has to be earned.
I agree.
And I'm not sure that the universe is actually earning my trust. It's sort of like it has to be blind faith, blind trust.
It does at first. Well, there's another thing is that, first of all, I want to make sure that the prior question is answered relatively first, whether you're satisfied with that, if I need to clarify anything. And then we'll move into trust.
Yes,
Okay.
I will work on your slant on it.
Right.
If I come up with more questions, I'll ask.
Okay. All right. So regarding trust, the issue is that you see the universe as this person or anthropomorphic being that you have to, that either is supporting you or not, and it's not really, I use two different terms when I refer to the universe or higher intelligence or whatever. I use the universe and I use the gods. When I say the gods, I mean like you say, a person that that's a relationship. It takes time to build up that trust. When I say the universe, I mean just a collection of laws and principles that make up the universe.
And I know I've read you, I think on blog posts or whatever, like the universe doesn't care. It just is.
Right.
There's no right or wrong. There's no, you're a good person, I'll reward you. Any of that
right.
stuff. It doesn't care.
Right. So
you have to have in some way gotten with. You have to have activated one of the universal laws to get the reward.
Right. So it's, and I do get it's more blind in the beginning. It's
no pun intended.
This is a totally different way of seeing the world. You know what I mean? I get that. I acknowledge that. It's very counterintuitive, only because the ego has been such a big part of our lives up to this point that it's like it's hard. I get that. But the universe always works. It's not depending on what kind of mood it's in. It's not depending on how much it likes you or how good you've been or anything. It always works. One of its principles is that if you surrender to it, if you let it work, it'll support you. It will support you in near miraculous ways at times. I mean, I've seen insane things happen. Okay, so it will, but you have to give it that space. You have to give it that openness. And I think I was lucky that, it wasn't a great experience. The thing when I first started with the law of attraction when money was super tight and I had to trust. No, I didn't enjoy that experience, but I'm glad I had it because that made me trust because I didn't have a choice. I just literally didn't have a choice because I had no action I could take to solve my problem. So I know that it works. I've seen it all throughout my life. But you have to have that openness. You have to give it space. You have to stop obsessing about the problem long enough to let it work, to let it give a solution to the problem, or let it create a path to the vision. That's hard. I mean, the ego wants to hold on and try to solve it by force of will, and it just won't work that way. So I totally get that.
That's where I get confused too, because what was the blog post about? You need to use will to manifest.
That's true, but not to solve problems. Will has to be a higher will. It has to come from confidence, not lack, not fear, not obsession, not attachment.
Yeah.
That's the difference. You can't do this. I need to pay bills. I am going to, solve this issue no matter what it takes, and it's going, it won't work, and you'll obsess yourself, and you'll get really anxious and stressed out, and the harder you try, the more the things push back, and we've all been there. Will comes in.
I did 70-hour weeks for years and years and years, and you just do that until you burn out.
Right, exactly. Where the will comes in is when you say, all right, I am going to manifest, an abundant life, a life where the bills are paid, a life where things are easy and effortless, and there's no way I'm not going to do it. I will it, I choose it, it's done. It's a total absolute difference. You're not pushing against a problem. I don't even want to say pushing, but moving towards a solution, or towards your vision.
Right.
That's the difference. It's all in the perspective, all in your stance towards the issue at hand. Again, is it a problem or is it a vision? That would actually make a pretty good blog post, probably. But it's all in how you perceive the situation. It's all in how you frame it. So yes, the will is essential, but in the ego's hands, it's sort of just like this, that expression, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Yeah.
Sort of how it gets. It's like waving this hammer around and just hitting everything, thinking it's going to fix it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And like you said, you get burned out. So you have to change your perspective on how you see things. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Mm-hmm. Any follow-ups?
All right, more food for thought for the next week.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I mean, I know it's like I said in the trust post, I wish there was a shortcut. You know what I mean? Like, it's most other things I can say, yeah, here's a simple NLP trick, or here's a simple, technique to do this, and reframe it for yourself and whatnot. With trust, there's no shortcut. It just takes time.
I know I can easily do the little things.
Yeah.
It just seems to be moving on to something a little bit more important.
Yeah.
There's like a wall there.
Because you can't let go of the need to try to make it happen. Right?
Yeah.
You can't let go of that need to try to make it happen. As I've said, the technique you use for the little stuff is absolutely totally different from the technique you use for the bigger stuff. And when I say bigger, I know bigger is relative. It's relative on your own subconscious structures and where you are as a person and on your path. But the bigger stuff to you takes a totally different approach. And that's one of the biggest things that I've tried to show people, because most people are trying to, again, use the same set of tools for all goals, and it just doesn't work. Trying to, yes, I mean, letting go. I've discussed letting go and all that kind of stuff. But only doing that and that's it. And that won't bring the bigger goals. You have to create a vision. You have to hold the vision. You have to love the vision. You have to choose the vision and create a path to it. And that's the bigger goals. The smaller goals don't need all that because you're already there. It's just you kind of need to choose it, and that's it. It's almost like, excuse the metaphor for a second, but it's like like in a fantasy book like Harry Potter or something, or like wizards, you know what I mean? Like, okay, they're good at a certain set of spells or something, a certain set of tricks, but then like that's easy. It just takes a wave of the wand, and like the current level goals takes just a simple choice of will, and it's there. You probably think of things you can manifest in a couple of hours, couple of days. Takes a simple act of will, and it's done. It's almost like magic. But then the bigger stuff, it's like, okay, you have to learn how to do that, and you have to progress towards it, and that's harder.
Right. Just like in Harry Potter, that like to transfigure something, for example,
right,
it's very hard.
Right.
Or to make a potion or something,
mm-hmm.
It's hard. You don't just wave a wand and do it.
And the cool thing is, once you've done it, it's easy.
Right.
Just like a piano piece. Again, once you've done it, you've mastered it, it's easy. I've said before, like a millionaire, the first million's really hard. Second million's a bit easier. This third million's a lot easier. The fourth million's pretty much effortless, probably. But eventually, it's a skill. It's a skill that you've practiced. You have to see the law of attraction as a skill, where success is a skill, right? And yeah, the first time will be hard.
And it's just like a baby learning to walk. They fall over, they get up. They fall over, they get up.
Exactly. Right. It takes making those neural connections in your brain, which takes practice. It takes practice to make those connections. Your brain isn't used to abundance, let's say. It's not used to abundance. Like, for example, and I'm not going to give specific numbers, that sounds awful to do that, but, like our financial situation today, for example, is worlds different from what it was, say, 6 months ago. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And 6 months ago, if I thought of looking at the bank balance and seeing what I see, let's say today, that's it's nuts, But then today it's like, oh yeah, I have that. That's how much I have, right? And it's just normal. That's what it is. It becomes normal, and then all you have to do is create a new normal. If you can create a higher normal, you just have to keep creating higher normals.
That's why I thought that the Amazon business would be good, because in a way it's just it's up to the universe how many people actually decide to buy your product.
Right.
And you can say, okay, I want 35,000 this year.
That's true of anything online. I had a business goal for this month that I way over exceeded, like, just for my coaching and intuitive readings and courses and all that kind of stuff. You can do anything online is like that, because it's online. You have almost an infinite audience. I mean, there are billions of people with internet access. So anything online is like that. But, one thing about creation, I talked before about, I want to do an Art of Reality Creation 2.0, because there's such differences. I would say not alterations as much as additions and clarifications. But one of the things I was thinking today, I really want to emphasize, talk to normal, everyday, let's say, law of attraction user, and you ask them, okay, what is the central tenet of the law of attraction? What's someone going to say? And I want someone to actually give me something. Anyone?
Detachment.
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't hear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've had 4 hours sleep, man. So
you didn't have to come.
No, we're good. Just a little bit off.
Resistance free.
I'm sorry?
Resistance free.
Resistance free, yeah. Right. So.
Oh, yeah, that is a big.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew that was
My thing, it's about tension.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that like totally opposite of what everyone else says?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Okay, and I learned this. Okay, two years ago, I was thinking about becoming a hypnotherapist. When I was first developing co-creation coaching, I wasn't sure how I wanted to do my practice. I didn't know if I got my NLP certification. I didn't know if I just want to do that, like, talk to people, or if I want to do like hypnotherapy where I actually put them under and work with their subconscious. And so I was thinking about going to get my hypnotherapy certification, and I started that course. Well, one of the things they said in the course that at first, when I first started learning with the law of attraction, I'm like, they have to be wrong about that. And today I look back, I'm like, they were totally right.
Yeah.
One of the things they said was we have, I can't remember the term they used for, but I'm going to call it comfort zones. If you imagine a kind of a cell, a floor and a ceiling around your comfort zone. Okay, let's take money because it's the simplest quantitative number, kind of thing you can have. Let's say your comfort zone is around, I don't know, let's say $2,000 a month. All right. So you have a floor and a ceiling to that. Let's say the floor is $1,800 and the ceiling is $2,200. Now here's what happens. If you hit the 2,000 mark, it feels good. You're awesome. Things are great. And you get a good feeling about it, right? You're comfortable and everything's good. If you are between 1,800 and 2,200, it's good. You're all, it's not right on the mark, but it's good. If you're below, let's say 1,800, you're uncomfortable, okay? And your subconscious kicks in right away to bring you up to your comfort zone to 2,000. So it manifests it. So if you're at 1,700, we got to get at least another 100, but preferably 300 more, and we're good. It's not happy until it does it. Now here's the other thing. If you get 2,500, so wait, that's outside my comfort zone. That's above the ceiling. Let's get a big bill that comes out around. Oh, look at this $400 bill I just got out of the blue. That wastes the extra money that I had that I could have done something else with. Or, let's waste it on something frivolous that I don't really need. And then, where'd all that money go that I had extra? Do you see what I mean? We purposely, subconsciously, not intentionally, subconsciously stay within that limit. Now, if what people said about the law of attraction was true, just feeling good would be like, oh, okay, I feel good. I'm going to shoot up to $10,000 or I'm going to shoot up to $3,000 or whatever. That's not how it works. What do you think?
I think you got a message.
All right, okay, I'll check it. So, if law of attraction, like what people say it is that you feel good, you have no resistance, blah, blah, and you shoot up to like 3,000, 5,000, whatever, immediately, just because you feel good about it, so the universe brings you that. No. If, you have to raise your comfort zone, your comfort level, let's say to 2,500 with the same kind of margin, so that if you make the 2,000, then the tension kicks in because that's no longer your comfort zone. That's actually below your comfort zone. The tension kicks in and won't let up until you make it up. You see what I mean? So tension is...
Maybe it's where I'm at, because when I was working, I would do 60,000 a year.
Right.
And now I'm not working at one solid job 70 hours a week. So, yeah, I do feel uncomfortable.
Right, exactly. And that won't resolve until you make
a lot
a
of tension there.
Right. But see, so tension is the driving force behind the whole, it's not feeling good. It's not that's part of it, but it's not the driving force. It's the tension.
I've read that blog, Subconscious Structures,
yes.
about 3 times now.
Right, that's the comfort zone I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the comfort zone. You have a subconscious structure that says 2,000 a month, that's the sweet spot. That's pretty good for me. But above that or below that, too much, and you get uncomfortable. It's like those lottery winners who, win $1 million, and then a couple months later or a year later, it's all gone. It's like, why weren't you smarter? Actually do, invest it or save it or something. But they buy homes and cars and give it to people and buy computers, and it's gone. And it's like, okay, that was,
Yeah.
Or,
See,
yeah.
I know that if I had, $1 million land in my lap, I know exactly how I would manage it.
Oh yeah,
how,
me too.
How I deal with it.
We were just having a conversation like this on the blog.
I don't think I'd have any trouble, keeping it safe and making it do the work it's meant to do.
Right. So, it's. Oh, another example was, the same hypnosis school I was doing. Someone talked about how they wanted to manifest $200,000, and they did manifest it. They did create it, but then it was like all gone because they didn't actually create the structures within themselves to make that a normal everyday thing, right? So you have.
Well, that's what happened with that family house. That was over $2 million.
Right.
And I possibly won't see a cent of it. Maybe my children will, or their children.
Right.
So yeah, I can see exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah. So it's not about being in the vortex and feeling good all the time. It's about tension. It's about where your comfort zone is, and where the subconscious structures, whatever you want to call it, and raising that zone to a level where now you're uncomfortable because you're not meeting it. That's what it really is, And like my comfort zone today is totally different and much higher than it was, let's say, 2 years ago, and that's how it works. So the subconscious mind will keep generating the income to keep meeting that comfort zone, because otherwise it's uncomfortable and it doesn't like to be uncomfortable, right? That's how all this stuff works. And it's such a totally different view of it, but you need to have that basic understanding in order to really do anything with it. Okay. So that's something very, 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 very important. See where your zone is, and you can tell that by how you live month to month. And it could be any goal. It doesn't just have to be money, just anything. But it's just the best quantitative example. But see where you are, and then you need to raise that comfort zone. You need to make it higher, make a higher normal, right? If you what you are doing right now is normal because it's where you are, but make it not normal anymore. Make something higher normal by visualizing it, by living it, by embodying it within yourself, by affirming it, by journaling it, whatever you have to do. Make a higher normal so that where you are no longer feels as good. I'm not saying in a way that you push against it. I really have to make that disclaimer. We've all done that, but in a way that's like, no, that's no longer enough, right? I'm no longer going to live with that.
I just feel like I've gone backwards. Like like I say, I had a good income, and I actually trusted that I would be able to maintain that even if I wasn't, working long hours in a job that had quite a lot of negatives in it. Thought, no, I don't have to put up with this anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It hasn't happened, and my income is virtually zilch compared to that now.
I had something similar happen. Let's start a new topic here. I had something similar to that happen. One second. When a couple years ago, This was Christine had a job. Was this before co-creation coaching? Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was the year before co-creation coaching. Christine had a job. Bless you, I think. Whoever's just sneezed. Anyway, Christine had a job, and we were, pretty comfortable. It was more than, we had ever had before. Okay, it was awesome. It was really, really nice. It's actually probably about the level we're at now. And it was actually just after, a few months after a big spiritual awakening I had. So, I was enjoying it. I wasn't really needing it or, anything like that. But then my money vibration, for various reasons, started plummeting. Okay. It's one of those things. You ever have something where how can I explain it? You're spending money on something that is sort of a guilty pleasure of your, like, it's not something bad, but something that you're probably spending too much on. And then you don't want to look at the budget because it's like, oh my God, I don't want to see how much I had, different things like that. We maybe spend too much here or too much there. And I didn't want to look at that. I didn't want to admit it to myself. And so I avoided, I was budgeting at the time too. I avoided the budget like the plague, because I didn't want to look at and come to terms with what I had been spending on, how much I'd been spending on, let's say. And because of that, I guess, guilt or whatever, my money vibration plummeted. And our money situation changed immediately. We had a nice big buffer built up. And over a period of 3 months where we had next to no income, we spent it all. Because, on living, living expenses. And it was all like erased. It was all erased. And I can see how it happened. I can see why it happened. And it's taken time to get back up to that point. And, when I've really worked on my money vibration, I've thought back to that period because I remember what it felt like to have that much. And, now I think, I don't remember exactly what we had before, but now I think we're at least close to that level. But, it was, that was good. So that can happen where a situation really changes if your money vibration or whatever vibration we're dealing with significantly changes for some reason, or if resistance is triggered from something that happens. If resistance is really triggered, then that can really, really mess with things. And that's why I say you want to take a balanced approach. Don't do something that you don't really know or have faith in is going to work. Sometimes you can take a leap of faith and that it's going to work like that, but sometimes it's too much and you have to really know what's what. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it takes time, and that took a lot of time to build back up. 2 years.
Yeah, well, I had a good buffer as well, and it's taken me 3 years to,
right.
run out.
Exactly.
But then in the meantime, I had to go over to the UK just before Christmas, and that was actually a real struggle because when I was working, it used to be the struggle was to find the time and be able to get the time off and get annual leave to be able to do it.
Right.
But no trouble, dropping 10 grand on a ticket or whatever.
Right.
Problem at all.
Yeah.
It's the other way around now.
Yep. Right, and that's why it's so very important that you don't overemphasize this as a problem. For a long time, I was like, how did this happen? We were really, really set. There are physical circumstances that I know how it happened physically, but I know it was vibrational. Once I learned about the law of attraction, oh yeah, that's why that happened. You don't want to do that. You don't want to say, how did this happen to me? Why am I here? In this situation, like how awful, like that I am doing this and I'm this low. It just traps you in this vicious cycle. You don't want to do that. Again, you want to set a vision for where you want to be in your, I don't want to say your every moment, because you don't want to, I mean, obviously you have to live life, but your focus should be there a lot of the time on that vision. Again, not trying to solve the problem of how to get out of the situation, but creating a path to the vision of where you want to be. And we keep coming back to that over and over and over and over again. That's really what it's about. And again, raising that normal level. Where you are right now, it's a new normal, maybe not a pleasant normal, but it's a new normal, right? You're not surprised how much you have in the bank right now, for example, because it's what you've had for a while. But you have to raise that level of normal. That's what it is. It's all, the law of attraction is all about normal. It's not about excitement. It's about normal. Okay? It's all about raising the level of normal.
I like that. That's cool.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's true. It's totally, absolutely true. You know?
And it makes sense.
Right. I'm glad it makes sense.
The other one is, help me, was it manifest the perfect path to?
Right, to create the path to the vision. Right. Is that what you meant, Justin?
I think I think that's probably step one.
I'm sorry?
I like those two.
I think create the path is step one.
Yeah. Step one is to create the vision, like to choose the vision. Right? To change how you see things, to choose the vision you want to create. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people I work with, I say, what do you want? I don't know. Well, I can't help you. I can try to help you, but you got to figure out what you want.
I can't help you that one. Now, the other thing is, don't be afraid to change your vision a little bit.
Exactly, right.
When you feel it, and you go for the first part of it, and you put a lot of effort and a lot of focus into it, and you suddenly realize, maybe this feels right. Don't be afraid to do that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the vision will change. Absolutely. But
I thought that was, what the signs were about. When the signs come up that are kind of close, but not really spot on, that it's sort of, in effect, the universe saying, is this what you want? Is this how you want it? And you're thinking, well, no, it's pretty close, but I want a red one.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's I mean, again, just like I said with the concerto, I got really, really familiar with every nook and cranny of that concerto. You're going to become really, really familiar with your vision. And you might set your vision, you might say, this is mostly good, but not so much of this. Or more of the other thing. Like, for example, with co-creation coaching, I realized that, number one, I enjoy courses a lot more than I enjoy, let's say, one-on-one coaching. I love doing courses. Okay. I do one-on-one coaching and I enjoy having that option, but I enjoy courses a lot more. So that was a surprise to me. I didn't realize that until I actually did it. Like, I love doing courses.
I loved that course last Saturday.
That was awesome. You did a great job.
You did great.
Justin did a course.
I got to listen to it.
Yeah, Christine listened to it. It
was amazing.
Outstanding.
Yeah. I love crystals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You should check out that course. It was really good.
So how many people turned up?
Well, several people purchased it, but not as many turned up as, like a lot of people will get it and then they'll get the recording afterwards. So, but it was really good. But, so anyway, but what was my point? With co-creation coaching, I realized, I like courses a lot better than coaching. Okay. And then I realized also, if I'm, I really like, let's say as a main focus of mine, I'll help with anything, but I really like dealing with money. Money is my, specialization or something. I don't know. And I'll do anything, but I really enjoy helping with money. That's just, I have a knack for it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I can just do it. I mean, I almost several times on many occasions almost went and became an accountant because I love dealing with money, working with numbers. But I wanted to have the spiritual aspect. You know what I mean? I have one person that literally, because someone who has me pretty much help with the budget. And we talk about the spiritual aspect, but I do a lot of the budgeting, right? With this person's, input, obviously. But that's something I love doing that, right? So I love working with money. So that's one of my main interests. And that's why I use a lot of money examples in the post, posts, I do, because that's kind of my main thing. I'll do relationships, I'll do whatever else, but you know,
you're like a financial advisor type thing,
but with law of attraction.
Right.
how to manifest your, you know, financial,
yes,
whatever dreams. But you know, I think because relationships sort of surprisingly kind of fell in my lap. I mean, it just sort of happened, so I can't really say much about it. I mean, like,
I wonder how you manifested that.
It just, well, honestly, it was one of those things where I stopped trying. You know, I wasn't really, you know what I mean? Like, I never thought I would have a relationship.
Neither did I.
It just sort of happened.
I pursued him. Okay, I will make it known.
When someone says I can't find the person I want to be with, I'm like, I don't really know because I didn't try. I wasn't even looking. So.
I did. I think I manifested you.
Probably.
Because I pursued him.
Okay. Anyway, so, you know, that's why I don't really do relationships, because I'm like, I can tell you how to have a better relationship, but finding one, I'm sort of clueless because it sort of found me. You
weren't really looking.
I wasn't really looking. I wasn't looking. Period.
No, he wasn't. Neither was I.
So, really. You know, it's like that's.
So Christine will have to do that course.
Yeah, she'll have to do that course. How to find your partner.
You do that one, Christine?
There is one suggestion, or one thing I would probably say. The course would be 2 minutes. Don't look for the person. That is the key.
That's the key. Don't look.
Don't look for anybody. Just
for us, it started in friendship. We were friends, you know. I mean,
we weren't trying for anything more. Like we just
sort of developed.
That doesn't mean I didn't like him.
Like it got to the point.
It happens like that.
It got to the point where I just sort of realized, oh wait, you know, it's actually something more. Because I realized, like, we were in school. I realized I'm actually going to be kind of upset when she goes home for Christmas break. Like I'm going to be really sad because I like being with her.
Oh.
And then, you know, people started asking me, is there something there? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't thought of it. But it just sort of happened anyway. But, you know, come back to the point, though, is that, you know, your vision will change as you work with it, as you explore it, as you know, love it into existence, as you hold it, as you embody it, it will change. It'll, you know, it'll become clearer. And that's great. Yeah, some of it will be like when the signs come and stuff like that. But a lot of it will just be, you'll get to know your vision better and what you really want better. Because really you just have to give yourself permission to have a vision first. It's really a big part of it. And then, you know, work on clarifying that vision and working towards it. It's really what it is. I've said before, goals are sort of like, almost like, you know, children, because you are dealing with them, working with them all the time. You know, it takes commitment. It's not just, I don't know, these people who say, just set it and forget it, just think about it once for 68 seconds and then just forget about it and don't think about it anymore and it will come to you, just feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know what universe you're living in, but that doesn't, it's never happened for me. Again, current level goals, sure. You know, but not for the other stuff.
That person can do it. More power to them, man.
Right. It's like, I don't know what universe you're in, but
okay,
not mine, because it's not how things work here. You know, and I've met many people who've tried the same thing and just hasn't worked. So it's like children. You have to really work with them, and you know, love them and nurture them, and it'll grow up into the vision. You know,
I love that, the children analogy.
No, it is. It takes a lot
and
of
sometimes
commitment.
you get frustrated, just like you do with kids.
Oh, sure. Sometimes you're like, oh, why do I have this goal? But it takes commitment to the goal. It doesn't just. That's why I've said before, and there was someone when I said this a few months ago. They're like, I don't get why this is, but deliberately choosing your goal is scary. It's really, really frightening, terrifying sometimes, especially when you don't know if you'll get it. Deliberately putting your will behind your goal and choosing it, saying, I choose this goal, is really scary because you're putting yourself on the line. You know, not that anything bad will happen if you don't get it, but it's just you're committing to it. You're making a commitment to the goal. You know, it's a relationship almost. So it's scary. And that's, you know, it changes you throughout the process. It's not just a simple thing like, well, I think I want this. I think I want this much money, and I'm going to think about it and drop it and just whatever, feel good. And No, it really, really takes a commitment. Which is, again, why really you have to be inspired to it. Because if you're not inspired, then forget it. You know? Does that answer your question?
It certainly does. Thank you.
Probably overly much.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We take the question and we answer it over and over again until you have nothing left.
Brandon, you mind going back and explaining all that again, Brandon?
You gotta go back and listen to the recording.
Oh, man.
What were you gonna say, PK?
It's just that there are so many facets to it that are all interlinked that, I sort of think I get one part and then that puts something else off balance.
Right.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. Like I said, it's simple, but it's not at the same time.
Each step is simple, but interlinking it all,
right,
it's not.
I remember once I was having a conversation with my deities, and I said, I really want to make this simple. Show me how to make it simpler. And basically the response was, do you want it to be simple or do you want it to work? Well, I want it to work. It's like you can have a nice sounding saying,
let go, let God.
Like you can have a nice sounding aphorism, but it's like it'll apply a lot of the time, but it's not really going to help in those certain situations where things are complicated. So
the thing is that if you have something simple like let go, let God, I've heard that 100 times.
Right.
Tell me how.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Let go. Don't tell me that word.
Tell me too.
Care about that. Tell me how to do it.
Yeah, that was the problem I always ran into. It's like they tell you to do this stuff, and it's like, how the heck do you do it?
Yeah, that's sort of the difficult. That's where it all is.
That's what you do, is you teach how.
Right.
You don't just say aphorisms like let go, let God.
Right, exactly.
Or trust in the universe always or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, some of this comes with spiritual development. You can't take a shortcut to it. This stuff is not easy. Not from the default ego perspective we come from. Right? So
the other thing that I was thinking was that if I could develop up my intuition or that side of it, I would have maybe more of an idea of what was going on inside.
If you had more intuition,
I could talk to my guides or whatever.
That'll come. But if you're open, they'll communicate with you. You know what I mean? Like that'll come.
And even though, and like just I speak from experience, if Brandon, he has an amazing intuition, but that doesn't always mean like he has the answers. Sometimes he'll ask me what he should do, or something. So yes, having intuition is great, but when it's yourself, it's hard.
It's hard. Right.
You can have, like I say, you can look for signs, just physical signs in the universe too. You don't necessarily have to depend on intuition. Yeah, a lot of times, like sometimes for me, sometimes it'll come as just a voice, just a knowing, or something that I'll have a conversation with the gods, and it'll just be okay. That makes sense, And sometimes it has to come because I'm really dense, or I'm really just not listening that well. It'll come through an article or a conversation I have with someone. I'm just not really dense sometimes, huh, Christine?
Yes. Very much.
Oops, sorry. So, sometimes it'll come through an article I read or through anything. I'll be honest. Yesterday I was thinking about something and I was sort of agonizing over it, and then someone left a comment on my blog, and the thing they said sort of answered my question.
Do I know this?
No. Sorry.
He keeps secrets from me.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can tell you later. But
I know.
it was just sort of a small thing. It wasn't like
No,
this
I
big,
understand.
big
I'm just joking with you.
earth-moving thing. It was just, it was just sort of a, I don't know how, I'm trying to figure this out, and then someone comments, oh, yeah, I was forgetting about that. So
that's cool, though.
It's just, the universe will find any way to communicate to you. It doesn't just have
Sometimes
to be.
It's just what somebody says to you.
Right.
A song you listen to even. Like, it could be anything.
Right. So, it's not necessarily in like a direct answer in your mind or something like that. That helps. I mean, that happens to me too all the time. But sometimes you're too involved where the universe just can't get that answer to you directly. So it'll come through some other means, but it will come. And usually, in my experience, it comes within days. If you're waiting a lot longer, then you either missed it or you weren't open to it. So it usually comes in a matter of days, if that. Sometimes the same day.
I have things happen that I think that must have meaning. That's just too big to be coincidence.
Sure.
But I can't get the meaning out of it. I can't understand what it was trying to tell me.
Mm.
And you'll get signs, and if you especially ask throughout the process, long before your manifestation comes, or you'll even get things to tell you, this isn't the way for you to go right now, but you'll get them. I mean, they come. They really do.
Yeah. And so what you do there is say, okay, I think you were trying to say something to me, but I didn't really get what you were trying to say. Can you sort of clarify? And the universe will. It'll clarify.
A lot of the stuff, though, is say you're working on a new car, and then you see lots of them about.
Yep.
It is just purely physical RAS stuff. That's what your brain meant to do. It is meant to pick out things that you've told it is important.
Yes.
It's not a sign, is it? It's just the sign that you're actually thinking about that car.
I mean, we were talking about in the podcast, we were talking about the RAS, the reticular activating system in the brain. That's sort of, I just got this car. I'm just focusing on this car. Oh, look, there are all these cars about. I didn't know there were so many. It's more that your brain said, oh, that's important. Okay, I'll look for them, right? But it doesn't mean it's not something. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a sign. I would say it's attuning to the vibration of what you're focusing on. So you say, oh, okay, I want this. And the universe says, okay, here's a whole bunch of this, that you can see in other people's lives, right? That's the start. That's the start of it.
So is that meant to mean something, though? Is it meant to say, yes, keep thinking about that, or hey, we've got the message, or what?
I mostly just see it as a sign that I'm starting to align. That's as much of the vibration as I'm able to allow in my life right now. Right? It's not necessarily the universe responding. I mean, sort of it, in the way that everything's a response, but it's also just, the sign that I'm starting to align with that vibration, right? For example, a few years ago, we were thinking about, we were going to move to California. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
And then I started focusing on that every day. And I was totally, totally new to the law of attraction at this point. And, but I started focusing on it every day. I started seeing California literally everywhere. And it didn't seem like it was just, RAS thing. It seemed like it was almost deliberate. It was everywhere. Everywhere. And I was like, okay, I got that vibration going. I'm on the way there. And then we decided not to do it after all. So then I dropped it. And it kind of had momentum. It took a while for the signs to die away, but a month or so for the signs to start dying away because it was so activated. It was like, woo,
But then I would wonder whether I made the right decision about dropping it, and whether the universe was trying to tell me, no, this is really where you need to go.
No, that wouldn't be that. No. If the universe is saying no, I would read that post I posted about your manifestations being blocked for your highest good. If the universe is saying no, you're going to get obstacles, not signs.
Oh, okay.
You're going to get obstacles.
It'll tell you no.
It'll be pretty clear.
It'll be very hard for you to do something.
Or it'll tell you what's in front of you.
Right. It'll say, it'll bring up one obstacle. Like, one obstacle is fine. 2 obstacles are fine. Once it gets many more than that, once it starts to feel like you're repeatedly slamming your head against a brick wall, that's the point where you say, you know what? This might not be the path. Shouldn't be this hard.
But then isn't that just a case of perception, whether you see it as a sign or as an obstacle? We've been taught all the way through that, if you want to reach your goals, then you just keep going, no matter what. Just keep going.
Yes, but there's a totally different feel to it.
Signs are positive.
There's a totally
obstacles make you mad.
Like, one of the times, I said I wanted to become an accountant before, and I almost tried this. I applied to a school. I did all this. I got accepted even, and I, was really, really close to doing it. And then all these obstacles started popping up. And initially, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's just resistance or something. But after a while, where the obstacles aren't moving, and it's just not budging, and it just feels like I'm
oppressive,
pushing against the flow.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I got it. It's not the path. And when I really thought about it, I realized it wasn't the path. When you have to put in a ton of effort, it's just not the path. I remember I told this story last year. This was last March. And I got this. I was really wanting to improve my business and really trying to get better at marketing. And there was this guy who was doing this free webinar.
I know what this is.
I'm all about free webinars, right? So I did this free webinar, and it's awesome. And he has a lot of really good tips and about like marketing and that kind of stuff. And then he says, we will do a free, like 30-minute or whatever coaching session with you because we really want to see you succeed, and ask questions about your business and see what might be able to help and that kind of stuff. Like, cool, I'm all for that too. Free sessions, that's awesome. So I signed up for a session. The session, as anyone with half a brain would probably see, was nothing but an excuse for a big pitch. And the thing is, I was all on board. Like, if I would have had the money in the bank, I absolutely would have done it. Absolutely, totally would have done it. But it was like a ridiculous,
wasn't it like 100,000 or something?
No, it was not 100,000. It was 10,000 is what it was.
Oh, okay. I don't know why.
But they're like, but you can pay, what was it, $1,200 today. Like, look, you don't get it. I have $100 in the bank. Like, you don't get it. Marketers are really bad at accepting that you just literally don't have, like, you can't print money. Look, I don't have it. Well, if you don't really want it bad, no, it's not that I don't want it, it's that I don't have it. It was a really, really awesome thing, and I felt like I was kicking a puppy telling the guy no, because he's like so persistent, and it was like, I don't even remember what it was about at this point, or what they were talking about. It was really helpful though, and it sounded like they were really going to help. It was about like being better with content marketing and writing better content and marketing it and getting it out there and stuff. And they were going to help.
But surely no course should cost that much.
Yeah, well, they're like, oh, you can start charging, like, you can make it up. A lot of people, how they tell you, a lot of people make it up in the first 2 weeks or something because of the tools that we give you. Like, so the guy's like, okay, well, I can only extend this offer for today. So if you change, he basically forced me into like saying, he's like, when can I call you back so I can make sure, check if you want to do it. I'm like, 4 o'clock, I guess. Like, this is like 10:30 in the morning. Like, I guess 4 o'clock. Like, okay, I will call you back at 4. I ignored the call. And all day that day, I'm like, okay, I can manifest. I know I can manifest $1,000. I'm like, you know what you do. I can manifest $1,200 today.
I remember all of this.
I didn't tell you most of it because it was so ridiculous. I'm going to manifest $1,000 today. I can do it somehow. And it, obviously,
Brandon, you just didn't want it bad enough.
I just didn't want it bad enough, right?
You didn't use enough will.
That's right. So he calls back, and I totally ignore the call. I'm not going to go through that again. That guilt almost, like, I'm sorry, I don't have enough money.
Oh my! You didn't tell me you were trying to manifest it all day.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was really focused. Like, okay, how can I get this money? So then, like,
no wonder you were so upset.
I was.
See, I didn't understand.
You remember, I was off all that day. I'm like, I really want this. So
you didn't tell me.
Let it go. Right then, I would be
yeah,
like,
well, I'm okay. Ask Christine. I'm stubborn.
Oh my God!
I'm a mule. I'm stubborn.
I'd let go and let God
in a
at that
bad
point.
way.
You know
I'm
what?
really.
This ain't happening unless you do it. Buddy.
Yeah, well, I'm really stubborn.
Look, usually I can win arguments with anybody but my husband. Okay? Usually I give up with him because I can't win, and I just let him win, darn it. I wanted to say something else.
But, you know, like, I'm really stubborn. And so anyway, so I ignore the call, and I'm like, well, that's done. And I'm sort of upset for a while, and I'm like, well, that's what it was. I guess, you know, it wasn't meant to happen. It
Stuff
happen.
I find out on support calls.
I know. This is like a year later. This is almost literally a year ago. So then it turned out great because then I got, like, you know, a lot of new resources for my website. I learned a lot more about search engine optimization, got new tools. That's when I started moving towards the Rainmaker platform. And
it helped you, for sure.
And it helped, you know, got new stuff that really helped me. And I think probably helped me a lot better than some $10,000 course. You know what I mean? So that was the path of least resistance, was what I actually ended up doing. What I tried to do was, like, forcibly ramming my head through a brick wall. And that's what I'm saying by...
You have a pretty big head.
You just have to realize when you just aren't making progress, and when the universe is just saying, no, not happening. Okay? That's what it's like. It's just one obstacle after another, or the obstacle's just not moving. And it's like... And when you really are trying, it's just not moving. And it's like, okay. And then back off. And you reconsider and you realize, you know what? That actually wasn't really the best path anyway. You know? Because if it was, it would have worked. Right? Maybe you'll get one obstacle. Maybe, you know, maybe you'll get two. You know, but they won't be impossible obstacles. They won't feel like brick walls. They'll just be small or manageable. But... You know, that's what I mean by when the universe puts up obstacles and says no. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would just be trying to choose what is the size of the obstacle.
Yeah, it's just...
Because that is very much a personal choice.
It is. You'll get it. I'm not saying if you have an obstacle, run the other way. No, you're going to have obstacles towards your goals. I've had obstacles.
Or lobster
obstacles.
Sounded like you said lobster.
Lobster obstacle. Remember the path of the hermit crab?
Yeah, the path of the hermit crab.
Lobster obstacles. Anyway, I've had lots of obstacles with I'm gonna I can't stop laughing with co-creation coaching. You know, it's not been an easy path necessarily, but it's been manageable. And
sometimes you have to be a little tested.
Right.
But I think you recognize when it's a test and when it's not.
Yeah, it's a totally different feeling.
Because life is... I don't want to say life is hard because I don't mean it like that. It's challenging.
But it brings up challenges.
It's contrast.
That's the whole point. So one obstacle, two obstacles. No, it's not. If it's manageable, if it feels like, okay, this is hard, but I can do it, fine. If it feels like...
It's like a workout.
This is not budging no matter what I do, then you're probably not doing the right thing.
It's like a workout. Like,
right.
you know when you're doing too much... You know, but then you know, like, you want it to burn just a little bit because, you know.
Right. So that's really, I mean, you know, it's very subjective, yes, but you know when it's just not moving. You know, you just know. And then you back off and you say, well, it probably wasn't the best thing after all, you know. So that's the difference. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would, you know, always be aware of, you know, what your path is, what it's leading to, what it feels like, and whether you're trying way too hard. Most people are trying way too hard, and that's why this stuff happens, you know, because it's sort of like, I love Taoism. Everyone knows that. You know, the Tao Te Ching is a great book. And, you know, one of the things is non-doing. And the path to your success, I'm not going to say effortless, because it does take will, it does take all that. I'm not going to, you know, but it should be the path of least resistance. It should be something that you're drawn to, something that you just can't not do. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be forceful. So you have to be aware of what's going on with your path and where it's leading and what it feels like at all times. So, any other questions?
Not from me.
Not from you, all right. I doubt Justin never has questions. I'm just joking. So yeah, we had a lot of really good discussions today. I really help me to, you know, I like these calls. They always help me to clarify how I want to explain things. And I like the thing about, you know, it's not about solving a problem, it's about creating a vision.
That's so true.
I need to write a post about that or something, because it's that's really what the central part of this is. And also, again, tension. Tension is
that. Creating a vision, not solving a problem. I like this. You're not. See, you don't do it to solve the problem. You actually do it to create something. That's
to create something, right?
Really helps.
Yeah.
I had to remember that too.
You don't want to start with a problem. You don't want to say, okay, I have this problem, now I need to manifest the solution. No. Law of attraction doesn't do problems. Doesn't do it. The universe just doesn't see problems. It's like, what are you talking about a problem? I don't see any problems. You know, so you have to start with a vision. You have to say, okay, this is my vision. This is what I want. It'll do that. It'll do that really, really willingly, but not problems. Okay? If you focus on problems,
I like not trying so hard as well.
Yeah, it's not trying so hard. If you focus on a problem,
I think,
go ahead.
If you're efforting, then it's wrong.
If you focus on a problem, we'll say, oh, you want a problem? Okay, here's more of this, here's more of this, here's more of this. You know, it's the creative energy moves wherever you put your focus, right? So you're going to get what you focus on. If you're trying to solve a problem, you get more problems. But so the main things, tension, to move that sense of normalcy higher, that comfort zone, the subconscious structures. Tension is the main thing, the main driver. You know, moving towards the vision of what you want. And, you know, like I said, not trying so hard, not trying to do it with ego, but letting it happen, choosing it with the will, letting the path. What I used to say is you have to be at the end of the path. And people go, what do you mean by that? You have to decide on the vision and acknowledge where you are now. And that gap in between will sort of fill itself in if you allow it to. You can't do the middle part. You can't connect the dots. You know where you are. You know where you want to be with the vision. Good. That's it. Embody the vision. Don't do the middle part. Don't do the path. You know, the universe will create the path. You don't create the path.
Good
right?
way to say it.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, thank you. So, you know, you don't do that middle part. You don't connect the dots. You don't do the path. The universe does all that. And you just walk it. It's like kind of building a bridge one plank at a time. So, you know what I mean? Like, you know where you want to be. You know where you are now. That's all you need. That's tension. That's tension. And it'll do the rest. So that was an awesome discussion today. I appreciate the questions as always, because it would be kind of boring if we didn't have questions. So, but thank you everyone, and also for those who listen in and listen later on. So I hope everyone has a great week, and hopefully we see you next week.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.